Welcome, YouTubers, to another video. So I had some video issues in the unboxing, so I'm refilming this and just doing the review, but I will tell you how it is set up. But lo and behold, the Witchking bust by Infinity Studios. So I got this bad boy from Spec Fiction, Todd Johnson. He hooked me up. You guys know I was searching for this, and Todd had reached out to me and told me he could get me this. And so we made a deal. He shipped it next day, and here we have it. So big shout out to Spec Fiction. I'm definitely going to be using them for pretty much all future Infinity and Queen Studio busts. You guys know Resin GK turned out to be a scammer. And, I think Spec Fiction is the best option at this point. So here we got the Witchking bust. So let's talk about how this is set up first, and then we'll dive into the review. So the base comes off. This is magnetized. So that comes off. These little statues come off, and I'll show this in detail. So very cool. These are magnetized. This upper part of the gate is magnetized, and then there is all of these that come off. There's 8 of them throughout. They're extremely cool. The body is like a mannequin. You have 3 different pieces of cloth that go in. The arms are each separate. The sword is separate. The helmet and then the shoulder armor. So in general, it is kind of a pain to set up. I won't deny. Just like this was also a pain to set up. Like these pieces are kind of a pain. You got to get the fabric to look right. Especially like the face, the way you do that. You don't want it to be like filled with tons of cloth. You want it to be empty, similar to that. So you got to get that right look. I also added fabric in the back so you don't see like sunlight appearing through. So there's definitely some things you got to do to make this look really good. So it does have a light up feature. So first we will focus on that. So I got it plugged in underneath here. Right, and move. So let me just plug this bad boy in. So you do have to press the button each time, unfortunately. There's no way around that. So give me a sec. Alrighty. So here is the light up feature. It is coming off on camera a different color, but it's just green, similar to the movie, similar to the photos of like the official photos of this bust. But, it's mostly like the bottom part. And it is throughout the entire base. Of course, the fabric is covering a lot of it, but, you're basically seeing that front part. But this is the only Lord of the Rings bust that does have a light up feature. The Nazgul does not have one. Would be cool if it probably did. Maybe like a fire or something. He has a light up in the finger. Alexa, turn on statue room. Alexa, turn on statue room. All right. So here it is with the light on. As you can see, it is a subtle effect, but I do think it adds a lot to the base, because this is from... if you don't remember, like, I don't know the name of the location this is at, but I'm sure Haunted the Collector is going to say it in the comments below. But, I know this particular location when the Witch King was marching the armies out. There was like the giant green fire that shot up in the air, and he got onto his fell beast. He was preparing to be Witch King in this location. Frodo was going up to the Shelob cave. And it is a very cool location. So very cool indeed. So I like, the base. I think the base is 10 out of 10. It's big. This bus is very deep. The base is very big. It's bigger than his base. I'd say it's probably also as big as his. Equal as Sauron, bigger than Nazgul. It's a big base, and it is my favorite base amongst these 3. The Nazgul base is very cool. It's very detailed, has the Lord of the Rings logo. His logo is built in. It's not separate. And then it has, I forget the name of the location, but where Frodo got stabbed by the Nazgul, where they used that dagger right there to stab him. Very cool. A lot of it's blocked. You can't see the top part very good. Where this one, you can see all the important stuff. You know, all the stuff that the black fabric is covering is just repeat of these like gates. So you're not really missing a ton. But I really like this base. I think it's super cool, and I do like the light up feature. However, for the majority of the part, I'm probably not going to have it lit up, you know, for a few reasons. One, I can't plug it into my system and have it light up every time. You know, I have to manually press that button each time, which is kind of a pain. You know, but it is what it is. The fact it's AC adapter is great. You know, batteries are annoying, especially if this one had batteries on the bottom. You have to lift it up. Oh my gosh, this thing's very heavy. The base, it probably weighs 40, 50 pounds. The sword is heavy. The mask isn't heavy. The armor's heavy. The arms are heavy. The mannequin body's heavy. You know, so yeah, it's overall, a thing probably weighs 90 pounds altogether. I haven't tried to pick it up, but I've moved it, you know, to try to maneuver it for the best angles. And it's definitely a very heavy bust. Heavier than Nazgul for sure. Sauron definitely is the heaviest. So yeah, overall the base, concept, paint, detail, all 10 out of 10. I got no complaints. It's one of the coolest bases on a bust. I freaking love it. So coming up, so this bust, you know, there's obviously several key parts that you're going to be looking at. One is the arms armor. You know, because this one you see a lot more of that arm armor than you do on the Nazgul. The Nazgul, you know, I mean, you can bring it up, but it looks kind of weird. So you basically get like kind of like just a little bit of the wrist and the hands. This one, you get the full thing. And it's really cool. You know, like it has a more of a blue, like a dark navy blue as the main color, where that one's more like dark gray, black, silver. This one has that blue tint, which I like. And then it has lots of, you know, like gray, silver, black shading, you know, marks like this. So extremely detailed, you know, extremely cool. This looks amazing. This is like very sharp, like it could stab someone. Coming up to the shoulder armor. So there is a hole in the fabric that allows you to get this in. It's basically very similar to this, you know, with the same paint app style, just tons of weathering, extremely well painted, looks phenomenal. Same thing on this side, just a duplicate. You know, it's kind of like duplicates on each side. So if you look at one side, you know what the other is going to look like. You know, and then here's the sword. It is resin, but it is very heavy, actually. It's thicker than that one. You know, that one is a little fragile. You know, it does have like this wear and tear. It's not metal, which is a shame, but, you know, it's pretty thick, as you can see. That one's very thin, especially at like the top. It gets very thin. This is a thicker sword, you know, and you can see the design here on the hilt. And this actually goes all the way into this hand, so it's quite long. You know, and if you look at the Prime 1 Witch King, he does have a long sword hilt. Like, that is the design of that sword. You know, that one does a gold at the very bottom. This one does silver. So I'm not 100% sure which one is accurate. If I was to guess, probably, you know, the Infinity Studios one. Overall height, so it's actually slightly smaller than the Nazgul bust. You know, if you look at the height, Nazgul is slightly taller, like maybe half an inch. You know, in some of the photos, it was kind of hard to tell if his head was as tall as the sword, because the angle, like if you look at it like that, it almost looks the same. But the sword is definitely the tallest point. It is an extra like 5 to 6 inches taller. So I do really like this sword. I like it more than the Nazgul sword. I think it's, you know, just done better. The armor is done better. He has the 3 layers of fabric. Now the fabric is very detailed. They are similar to this fabric in the terms of, you know, some of the materials a little different. The blackness is a little bit different, but it does have, you know, this like really nice weathering. As you can see here, almost like water effects, dirt, you know, because if you remember in the movie, they did like run through the rain and mud. They're going after Frodo. And so, he was one of the original, obviously Nazguls that became the Witch King, the one that stabbed Frodo with that dagger. And then they basically made him the Witch King. So, yeah, very, very cool. Extremely cool. The fabric is quite long. It's very weathered, though. It looks really good. So I'm not 100% sure if I put all the fabric on accurate and in which order. I did the best I could, but I believe I got it accurate. So for the helmet, let's check this out. They did a really good job on this helmet. Now, these all do come off. They are numbered and magnetic, and there's not really a seam line right there. Like, they did a really good job in terms of that. This is not the blue tint like this. It is, more of a dark black with a rust look. There is 8 total of these horns that do come out. Yeah, overall, I'm extremely impressed with this paint up, though. The weathering, the rust effect is exceptional. Like, absolutely exceptional, folks. Like, this is top of the line work. Something you would definitely see, like, if you went to like a museum and you were looking at old armor, this is what it would look like. So you can see, like, this is how they would make the helmet. There's like a bolt here, a bolt there. There is tons of scratch marks. There's even like right here, a hole, which the Prime 1 doesn't have that. Now, I was comparing this to the Prime 1, which is very well done, especially for a 1/4 scale. It does have like a damage right there, but it's not necessarily like a hole. Their bottom part is a little closer, like it's almost touching, where this one, you could put a finger through that. It's not quite as close. Prime 1's very good for a 1/4 scale, no doubt. And look at the armor, the, comparison. That one doesn't have that like blue tint. Neither does the arm. It's more of just the silver. It's actually very similar to the Nazgul. So I'd have to watch the movie to see the exact armor, if it does have like that slight blue tint. Frankly, I do like it. I think it differentiates itself from the Nazgul, and I like that color. I think it looks really good. I wouldn't want the helmet to have it, so I am glad that the helmet looks the way it does. The helmet and the head is similar to the Nazgul, where it's just like that, almost like a mannequin type thing that goes in. You put fabric over it, and then you carefully put the helmet on top. It's a very tight fit. I had to just go very slow and wiggle it to get it in, but I think I did a pretty good job. I think the goal for the helmet, you want this to be tight. You don't want a ton of fabric in here, especially around the eyes. You want it to look just like black inside, similar to like that look. And this also is supposed to like drape down. So I used the long one that drapes down, similar to the Prime 1, how it comes from the neck and drapes over. I did the exact same thing for this. This piece is absolutely enormous. It is one of the largest busts I own for sure. The Nazgul is very tall. It is wide and deep, but he takes it to another level. He's just about equally as tall, but much wider and much deeper, and just has a lot more going for him. His arms are massive, bigger than mine. His chest, even the mannequin body chest, is as big as me. And I'm a huge guy, so this is a very big bust. I'm going to try to see if I get all right, give me a sec. Alrighty, folks, so you guys know how big Flankster is. And I'm standing in front of him, and this is absolutely enormous. I am telling you now, it's huge. A lot of people ask, what is better, Witch King or Sauron? And having looked at this for probably an hour, Sauron for months, I still think Sauron is better. Now, I think Witch King has a better base, but You know, when you look at like his chest area, it's just fabric. This is more impressive to me. The shoulder armor is more impressive on Sauron. The helmet, Sauron is bigger and they're both equally super cool, but I'd probably still slightly give it to Sauron. Now he has the sword, he has the ring. I think a sword is cooler. Sauron is much bigger still. Sauron is like redonkulously big. But I still think Sauron is the superior of the bust, and he should be better. He costs, what was it, like $5,600 or something like that? This guy's $28.59 through Spec Fiction. So, you know, it's a very good price. That one, if I remember correctly, was about $1,800. So I think the price is fair, honestly, for all three of these guys. I think it's very fair. A silicone bust now costs about $4,000 to $5,000. For $28.59 and way bigger, I think this is a much better bargain than a silicone bust, in all honesty. This is such a good deal for what you get. Such a cool looking piece, so realistic, like it just came out of the movie. Crazy presence, crazy cool. You know, the armor and the paint and the detail, all 10 out of 10 in my opinion. The fabric is top notch. I don't feel like it's cheap. Everything is just 10 out of 10 on this piece. It is a 10 out of 10 bust without a doubt. It's a grail. It's for sure one of my favorite busts now. Like, I am so happy with this. I've waited so long for this. It's been one of my most anticipated pre-orders, and it did not disappoint, folks. It is freaking awesome. So huge thanks to Spec Fiction for hooking my brother up. He knew I wanted this. I let everyone know. I let every retailer out there know I want this bust as soon as possible. And Spec Fiction was the one that came through for me. So I really appreciate Todd for hooking me up with this, getting it to me as quick as he did. So I'm just super happy right now, folks. I can't tell you how happy I am to have this. This has been a big empty spot in my collection. I completed my Trinity, and stay tuned for tomorrow's video where we're going to compare Trinities, and I'll tell you which one's my favorite. You know, because I got multiple Trinities of busts. We got 2 DC Trinities, Marvel Trinities, Horror Trinities. We got a lot of Trinities. So we're definitely going to do a Trinity bust video and talk about which one's my favorite. But like I said, overall, 10 out of 10 piece. If you've been on the fence, just buy it. Just buy it through Spec Fiction right now. He's the best price I've seen out there. All the Chinese resellers, they want like $4,000 or $5,000, honestly, because it ships in 4 boxes. They all, like, I asked multiple Chinese, and they were like $3,500 plus $950 shipping. I'm like, what? They're trying to flip it, because the ES on this, I think, is just a few hundred. Sauron was $99. I forget what Nazgul is. I can't remember what this one is, but it's a very low edition size. It's a very good price for what it is, and it's still available for pre-order. And it's absolutely freaking amazing, folks. So, yeah, definitely, if you're on the fence, just go and pre-order it right now on Spec Fiction's website. I'll use a link in the description below with my code so you guys can get a small discount. But I do think this would be a great one-off as well. You don't need to have all three if you want a one-off. Sauron is very expensive, very tall, so he's kind of hard. For the average collector, you're not going to be able to get Sauron. Nazgul is great as a one-off, but I would say get Witchking. He's about $1,000 more, but he is absolutely worth it. He's much cooler. So if you want a one-off Lord of the Rings bust, Witchking's the way to go, in my opinion. Nazgul is still very cool to have, and you could just pair the two together. I think it'd look really cool to have another Nazgul right here, you know, to have 2 Nazguls on each side with him in the middle. That would be sick. Or imagine someone who bought like 6 additional Nazguls and you had all the ring wraiths. Man alive, that would be so cool. If I had all the space and money, I would buy the entire lot of the ring wraiths. I'd make so I have all of them. With him in the middle and Sauron, that would just be beyond epic. So for my Lord of the Rings collection, we're waiting on 2 more pieces right now. One is Gandalf Ultimate by Prime One Studios, which I actually also pre-ordered through Spec Fiction because he was the best price. So he's going to go where Frodo is. Frodo will be lowered right there, and I will scoot them over and get the Pure Arts Gollum bust. It's a silicone art mask. I don't have a ton of space, as you guys can see. I mean, there's no way I can get the cave troll in this room. Just literally impossible. So we're just going to add the Gollum art mask, unless a different Gollum bust comes out that fits down there, meaning no higher than like 21 inches. And it looks better than that one. I do like theirs. It's reasonably priced. It's like $1,000. I'll go for the EX Direct. I haven't pre-ordered it yet. I was planning on just buying it once it's in stock. That way, in case a different Gollum bust comes up for pre-order, I will get that one instead. But if nothing comes up and Pure Arts is shipping, I will buy it immediately. Gandalf, ETA on Prime One's website shows October to January, I believe. And Spec Fiction told me he's about 2 to 3 months after Prime 1 releases, he will get it, because he has to import it via a, cargo container. So, I saved quite a bit of money going through him versus Prime 1 Direct. Prime 1 Direct wanted so much on shipping. It was redonkulous. Literally, like $500 more to go through Prime 1 Direct. I couldn't believe it. Anyways, folks, let me know what you guys think of the Witch King bust. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day.